Thank you for those of you who are here now at the moment. Um, yeah, I still need, a little bit of work to do to, um, plan some of these events. Guys, welcome to For TV channel. On my channel here, I talk a lot of stuff about immigration coming to America, the different processes, but I focus more. Hey, Simon. Um, I focus more on the DV lottery because that is the one that many people are concerned about. Okay, so some people have sent me some questions and I'm going to answer those questions. And you know what? Maybe some of the questions might be, hi, Joseph. But that might be some questions that you personally may be, looking for answers to, okay? So I'll be addressing those questions here. Yes, thank you, Joseph. I'll go through the list, and then if you guys have any questions, you can add it on, okay? So I'm going to go through the questions. Hi, Elvis. Hi, Samuel. Um, welcome. But I'll be going through some of the questions that people have sent me already, and then if you have any question, then you let me know. Do we have app for delivery? Are you talking about the application for the delivery? It's not out yet because the application hasn't started. But you can go to my website on Ufoi TV. You click on the train tool. It will let you practice to see how the real thing looks like, okay? It doesn't have all the pages, like it doesn't have all the pages, like, for those who are married, those who have children. It doesn't have all of the forms for you to fill for your spouse and your children. But it gives you an idea of how it looks like. So if you're scared and you're not sure, you're like, I don't want to make a mistake, I don't even know how this thing is, then you have to go there. Ras Ebo, the date has not been published yet. Nobody knows the date yet. It will be published by the State Department, and then we can let you guys know. But they're always open in first week in October to first week of November. Okay. When it comes out, I will make the announcement on my channel for you guys to know. I will announce in the various groups on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, so that you guys will know. Okay. The first question that somebody sent to me, and I'm going to go through the question. So when you see my eyes go down, I'm looking at it. All right. The first question is that somebody asked me, it's like, I am from Cameroon and I live in Qatar. Where would they interview me if I'm selected for the Greek card? Okay. So when you apply for the Greek card, wherever that you say, that's going to be like your default, like your address, your present address. So if you are from, like, this person from Cameroon, you are living in Qatar, then when you're applying, you use the address in Qatar. That also is not concrete, but when you get selected and you're filling your DS-260 application, let's say that by the time that you were selected, you had moved from Qatar to maybe Kuwait. What would be the person when you ask about your education level and you're still in college? All right. I will address that in a moment. So let's say you were in Qatar and after you were selected, you went back to Cameroon. Then when you're filling your DS-260 application, the address that you will use, if the address is in Cameroon, then you're going to have your interview in Cameroon, okay? So wherever on your DS-260 application, wherever that address is, the country that the address is in. So maybe you're in Ghana and by the time that you fill your DS-260 application, you're in UK. Then you put the UK address on the DS-260 and then you do your interview in UK, not in Ghana. So that's how it is, all right? The person was asking if you're still in college and they ask you, you say some university courses because you have taken some university courses, you haven't graduated yet. Or let's say you took some, like those who are in teacher training, nursing school, they can also pick some university courses because most of the classes that you take in nursing school you take in teacher training school. People who want to be teachers in the university will take similar classes, except that they're doing maybe their first degree and you are doing a diploma. Okay, so you use some university courses if you are in the university. All right. I didn't see the last question, so if you can bring up your question again, I'm going to back on the list. The second question was, I have a temporary passport from Kenya. Can I apply? Okay. I don't know how a temporary passport looks like. Okay. But let me try to relate to what that is. So let's say when you get your temporary passport, do they give you an expiration date? On the DV lottery application, the most important thing from your passport is the passport number and expiration date. The most important thing from your passport, they're not asking for a picture of your passport on the application. The most important thing is the passport number and the expiration date inside your passport. So those of you from Kenya or from other country, if you're able to get a temporary passport, do they give you the same passport number when you get the real one? Do they give you the same passport number? Say, can I tell if I can travel through the Schengen area? I will answer that question in a moment. So if you get a temporary passport, is it the same passport number that they are going to give you on your official one? Ask when you go for your passport, ask them, please, when you give me my real passport, would this number be the same? Would the expiration number that you've given me here, would it be the same in that one? If they say yes, then you can use that information, because like I said, you don't need to be holding your passport to fill the application, but you need your expiration date and you need your passport number. That information shouldn't change. If it changes somewhere on the application and later you are selected, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The person who just asked me that as a DV 2021 visa holder, can the person go through Schengen area? It depends on your passport, all right? And then it also depends on your the country that. So okay, so let me answer this for you. If you're coming, when you buy your plane ticket, you have a choice. Maybe your country, there can be a plane that can move all the way from your country straight to America and not touching any other country. Or you can have a plane ticket that goes to London and come to the US. Remember, London is not, UK is not part of the Schengen regions. So you may not need that visa. And you can always go to their website. Just go to Google and see like Schengen visa application. It will take you to their website, or Schengen countries. You go to their website. They have information there that will help you know whether because you're coming from your country, do you need it? And from my research recently, it looks like you don't need it because you're not going to leave the airport, all right? The sample, where you can see the sample form. On my website, when you go to wafoitv.com, when you go to wafoitv.com, you will see, like the DV lottery mock form, and it says train online. You click on train online, then you can fill in your information. It looks like the real one, but like I said, they don't have the part 2 part of the form, because on the real DV lottery application form, there's a part 2. If you are married, you have children, all right? Been on your reservation, amazing keeper. Thank you, Hypertech. I know it's Sam Eugene. Thank you so much. But that was it. So you can check on their website to see whether you need a visa. But for the most part, you wouldn't need a visa because you already have an American visa. When you're coming to your final destination, if you don't intend to get out of the airport, then you don't need a visa when you're going to the Schengen region, okay? When I was coming years ago, I didn't know much about it. That's why I made this channel, so that I can educate you guys on it. Because if I knew, I wouldn't even have paid money to get that visa. Because from their rules, if you have a visa to your final destination, and based on the country that you're going to, it's not just any country, all right? Because let's say you're going to Kuwait. Let's say you are a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, a Kenyan. You're going to Kuwait, and you're going through somehow. It's just an example, all right? somehow you're going through a Schengen region. We don't know how your plane just went through that region. With somebody like that, they will want a visa, because sometimes they look at the destination, like where you're going. Is their country, a better place that could, like when you get there, could you just say like, I'm not going anymore, So sometimes your destination can tell you where you, whether they should give you that. I said, one more question. Natural passport expires in March. Better to get a new one before coming to the USA. Your passport expires in March. Is it best to get a new one? So the thing is that when you get a new passport, I'm not sure if it's updated in the system, okay? But when you come to the USA, you can go and get a new one. You can apply to the US, your country's embassy in Washington, D.C. Many of the countries, they have their mission or their diplomatic mission in Washington, D.C. So, and most of them, I guess all of them have a website. So you can apply to renew your passport through them, okay? So you don't have to do that in your country before you leave, because I'm wondering if when you get a new passport, is there a way that something can flag and say that you the same person, you have a different passport number? So I would say don't do it, since your visa is in the old passport. Bring the one that has your visa in it. When you come here, you can apply to renew it, okay? So I'll go back on the list again. The question number 3 was that I've been selected for DV 2022. Can I apply again this year? Yes, you should apply again this year, because getting selected doesn't mean that you're guaranteed a visa. That nobody can guarantee you that you're going to get a visa. So until you have the visa in your hand, you are always, welcome to reapply. So I hope that those who are selected for the DV 2021, DV 2022, you guys will apply again for this year, DV 2023. Because who knows, maybe you go to the interview and something, because some reason you don't get your visa and you get selected again, now you can, go on. And then the other reason is that some of you were applied for by an agent, and the agent changed some information on your stuff. The agent is claiming that you're married and all of that stuff, and maybe you were not selected, all right? If you were not selected, now this is an opportunity for you to do it better, do it well, all right? Do it well, do it better, do it yourself, because maybe some agent applied for you last year, in the past few years. Now you know that, this thing doesn't even take a lot of time. Why? I can even apply for it myself. So now you can take charge of your own process. So yes, if you have been selected for DV 2022, DV 2021, DV 2020, until you have your visa to come to America, please apply every year. Every year. But make sure that you apply one time every year. Not, how do I get a host if I don't have one? And what if it affects my chance? So you ask about required for a visa, the vaccination thing, and then I'm talking about host. Hopefully I remember those things. So if you don't have a host, you need to start connecting with people. All right? You need to start connecting with people. I'm sure there's somebody you might know who knows somebody who is in America. All right? It's difficult for people to just let strangers come into their home. Imagine that somebody, a stranger shows up and they want to come and live with you. How would you feel? So you have to start making relationship with somebody, for somebody to get to know you, and feel comfortable that this person is a good person. And if they need a place to stay, I can give them a temporary place to stay for the meantime, so that they can get on their feet, get a job, and then move on to their own place. So if you don't have a host, I made a video talking about how to, reach out to people, how to meet people who, probably help you find a host. You have to do that work, because I feel that oftentimes people want somebody to do things for them. Do things. No, that part, nobody can do that for you. So make friends. You're on social media. You're on Twitter. You're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. Make friends. Make friends. And sometimes, we shouldn't let our friendship be about money all the time. Sometimes, people get to know that, oh, this person is a good person. You know what, when you're in town, please come to my house. You can come and stay there. That kind of thing. So if you plan on coming to America, those are things that you need to start doing. Nobody can do that for you, because the U.S. government is not giving you a place to stay. And somebody who doesn't know you cannot just say that, come and stay with me. Okay? So you have to start building relationship, making connection with people, making good friends. Some, let people see who you are. Because if I don't know you, why would I, what, So I hope you get that, what I was saying. The next question that somebody asked was that the vaccinations required for a visa. That the Surgeon General has, they have a list. So the approved clinic that you can go for your vaccination, they have all of those lists. But the place that you can also find out about it is you go to CDC dot I think .gov or .org. CDC, Center for Disease and something Disease Control. Their website, they're the ones who make the recommendation. And you can just Google, and when you go to Google, just type what type of vaccination do I need for US visa, because there are so many and they keep updating them. Sometimes some things get taken off. Like years ago, if somebody had HIV positive case, the person couldn't come to America. Now that's no longer the case. If somebody's HIV positive, they can still come to America. All right. But they have a list there, so many types of vaccination that you need. If you have children, your children might require more. If they haven't taken like measles, if they haven't taken certain types of vaccinations, then they might take more. But you as an adult, most adults already have that. So yeah. And then you say you mean COVID vaccine. So there's no like a requirement for say like a specific vaccine. Like they're not saying like go and take Moderna or go and take J&J but it's better you take your COVID vaccination before you come to the US. So take your COVID vaccination and then get a negative test before you can enter the US. If you don't get it, they will not let you enter the US, even if you have your valid passport. So you need to do that. Alvin asked that he hasn't received his second notification letter, so the interview letter. Time is running out, all right? Time is running out, and you always you have to check on your case status. You have to check your case status every day. I tell people check it every day, because few days ago there was one person that I know his case number, because he has been contacting me and sometimes checking with me. So I'll check his case number for him and all that. Hi, Wilberforce. So when I check, he called me and he's like, my case, it says in transit. And I was like, oh, really? The thing was that on all of the data that some people were pulling out from, from the database, saying that these people are getting interviews, the guy's number didn't show up anywhere. Like all the lists that they were pulling from the State Department, website, there was nothing there that showed the guy's number was on there. So if he wasn't checking on his case status every single day, several times in a day, he wouldn't even have known that he was getting interviewed. So the case arrived in his country embassy before he got the second notification letter. All right. And I believe, Alvin, a few days ago, I saw that you said you had contacted the embassy in your home country. Yes, they will be the best people to, give you the appointment. If your embassy says that, oh yeah, they should bring your case, then KCC will bring your case. But if the embassy is not, allowing them to bring it, they cannot bring it. So that was it. I think some of the questions I'm having, can you tell us something about cutoffs, numbers? I see on visa bulletin highest number which is 49. Doesn't mean that that's okay. So when it comes to on the visa bulletin, the cutoff numbers, all right, that so every month they do like ahead of time. Every month there's a cutoff point, all right. So the cutoff point means that those people who are on that number. So let's say the cutoff number for September was 2,675. So if that is the cutoff number, that means that they have visas available for all the people who have case number, for the person who has the case number 2,675 and below. So they have visas available for all the people with those case numbers below, like from the cutoff number below. So as time goes on, they will increase it. Let me see. Sorry. Question reserved to the next stage, which is reserved for the next stage. Okay, yeah, John Brown. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to see some of your questions, guys. So you say, can we tell us about that? Okay, let's see. In case can't have a chance maybe to get an interview. No, Samuel. So if your case number is like 53K, it means that at the moment, the time, the cutoff point, they publish the visa bulletin every month. So they're saying that from this point, from in this month, that you see this bulletin cutoff numbers, we are only working on people from these numbers and below. All right, and then they will publish for the next month like that. So if you're 53,000, then it's not, your cutoff point will not come up soon, probably next year. All right, your cutoff number will come up next year. Okay, let me see if there's any even, does it take enough time for them to request, how long after you request for okay. So, so when it comes to them requesting for your documents after you submitted your DS-260 application, it, yes, Hypertech TV, I was trying to brand the passport holder. I finished that a few days ago. So yes, I'm getting ready to, put them together and send them to the lucky winners for that giveaway. But like I lost my train of thought. So if you request for your case to be unlocked, that could a little bit slow down because now they're working on others, all right? Because when you make the correction and then you submit again, you get back in the queue, all right? But if you have submitted everything, you're not waiting for any new passport, you're not waiting for your police certificate, you have everything ready, please send them right away. Send them. Just follow the convention for how to name your documents. On my website, on Ufoi TV, when you click on the latest news, there are like articles there, and I've written one about how to properly name your documents, your supporting documents, and I've shown examples there, so you can look at those examples and to help you name your document, all right? And then when you send the email, the subject line has to be your, more light on the picture requirement. And your subject line has to be your case number, and then you have to give like your full name and all that jazz. I've written some of that information on my website, and the State Department has more information. Solomon was saying that the more light on the picture requirement, all right? So good evening, Adam. So when you do remind me of the increase of is it effect or proposal here? Okay, so the picture, it has to be on an off-white background, no too much editing. Some of you may have the correct picture. They say nothing on your face. So like me, if I were taking the picture, I'll have to put this behind here so that my ears will, pop out. And if you're not a Muslim, don't put something to cover your face like a Muslim. So there are things, if you have to put on some things because of religious reasons, then you can keep those things on. But there's no religious group that require people to put on eyeglasses. So you have to take the eyeglasses off. But like the Muslim women who cover their entire face, no, you have to cover your face, expose your face so that they know who you are. But they have a whole long list of the things that the do's and the don'ts. When you take your passport picture, most of the photo studios, they use editing softwares. And sometimes they have compression on, like compression on. So when they turn that thing on, it compresses your picture, all right? So when you take it to use the State Department system to resize it, it doesn't take because of that compression. They need to turn that thing off, you know. They do that. So John Brown is asking if the 55,000, the proposal for it to get to 80,000, is it still yes, it's still a proposal, because you know in the U.S. House there are two houses, and that is the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate. The representative are so many. The Senate is just 100 people. Representative is, I think, over 400 people. So there, Democrats have the majority there, all right? When it goes to the Senate, there are some Democrats who are moderate. So there are some who are, you know, they like Republican ideas. And so there are certain things that Democrats may bring there and they will still like not vote for it because they don't care for it. So it's still a proposal. It hasn't been, you know, approved yet. Can I use the picture I took last year and send for editing? No, don't use your picture from last year. Remember, last year we were not in lockdown. Okay, we were a little bit, but you have changed. Many of us have changed. We have gained weight. Okay, so use a new picture, a picture that, because if your face has changed a whole lot and stuff like that, I just recommend that you use a new picture. But if you want to use the old one, I'm not sure if they've, you know, questioned somebody about, they found out about somebody using like an old picture. I don't know. But especially for children, I highly recommend against that. Because you know children grow so fast, so you don't want to use last year thing. I do have a preparation for a WhatsApp group. I love to be part of that. I don't have one yet, but I'll think about it. All right. If you have selected, when is the best time to fill your DS260 Sweet Lynn? You have to fill it right away. Right away. Some people, so the winners were mentioned on May 8th. Some people submitted their DS260 May 14th, okay? So please don't wait too long. You know, there are things that are in your control. You submitting your DS260 is in your control. You don't want to wait so long because there are certain things that are out of your control, like whether they schedule you for interview and those things. Does it have expiration for submitting and stuff? Okay, I'll answer that now. That one. So don't wait too long. Submit it early, because when you submit it early, they do the requests for documents early. At some point, they stop requesting for documents. So at some point, people just send their stuff. But then that will give you enough time to act. And when I say enough time to act, let's say you have a high case number, all right? And now your staff are DQ, like documentarily qualified, and your embassy is very slow. Let's say you're in Nairobi embassy. They are too slow. Things are not moving fast. Guess what? If you see that there's a U.S. embassy in Djibouti, that is very fast. You can now contact the U.S. embassy in Djibouti and tell them, please, my case is documentarily qualified. Can I bring it there for you to interview me? And they'll be like, you know what? Yes, let them bring it. Then now you can tell KTC that, hey, Djibouti says they will interview me, so can you guys send me my case there? They will. But if you don't submit your stuff early and get, you know, the part that is in your hand done quickly, it will be too late. I remember early this year, I was telling people, transfer your case, transfer your case. Eugene, it will not be a problem if they don't request, you send it. When you send it, I don't remember anybody sending the documents and them saying that they've rejected it. Send it. When you send it, if you do it the right way, okay? send it with the proper procedures. They will take it, okay? But I remember early this year I was telling people like, guys, to go to America, did they offer any opportunity for the winners? Okay, I'll answer that question. But I remember early this year I was telling people, please, guys, transfer your case if your embassy is very slow. I even created a letter that people can go through the letter. I had some of the embassy's email address that people email these people and ask them for DV 2021. Many of them were scared, they didn't do it. Now they are regretting not listening to me. So guys, if your case, if finish your DS260 as soon as possible, send your document. But before you submit your DS260, make sure that you have reviewed it. That is where people get into the issue of unlocking their case and stuff like that. Review and make sure everything is correct and good to go, okay? Some of the questions I need to scroll back. If I win the DV lottery, are there any opportunities? No, there are no other opportunities. The opportunities for you to come to America. There are so many companies that are looking to hire people. There are so many companies that are looking to hire people. So you coming to America is the opportunity, okay? The US government is not giving you anything else. The opportunity for you to come to America, because if it wasn't for the DV lottery, maybe you couldn't have, you couldn't get a green card. Maybe you don't have the family member. Remember that if I had a brother in Ghana and I wanted to bring my brother, I'm a US citizen, it would take, and my brother is, say, older than 21 years, right? It would take about 15 years for my brother to come. Okay? And that is me being a US citizen. So you doing the DV lottery, you don't have to wait for 15 years. When you get selected, you don't have to wait 15 years. So that is the opportunity that the US government has given you. That's it. They're not giving you anything else. All right? Remember that our own countries, our own governments are not giving us those opportunities. That's where we are traveling, right? So for people, case number at risk not to be called for interview. There are people who had 80,000 case numbers that were called for interview. It all depends on the embassy. The embassy that your home embassy. If your embassy is working, they will. I think now in Ghana, the embassy in Accra is working on 8,000. Meanwhile, Djibouti was, way over 20,000. They're working on with 20,000. So, Solomon, no, you cannot request the interview to be done online. No. By the stipulations, the DV lottery does not operate themselves, all right? Congress made laws, made the rules, and they said the interview, getting visa to come to America has to be in person, face to face. So they will not do it no matter what. They will not, unless Congress changes the rules. And I haven't heard anybody who is going to try to change that. I'll clarify if you're from another station, okay, there wouldn't be a problem. Yes, depending on where you're going. So I suppose that you are coming to the US, DASCO. I suppose that you're coming to the US. Like I said, your destination determines whether they will let you get a visa, okay? If you're coming to the United States, of course, they know you already have a visa to the US. So they don't, you wouldn't need a visa to go to a Schengen region. But if you were going to, let's say, a country that is not that industrialized, a country that may not have, it's not as powerful, doesn't have that many opportunities, that many people are risking their life to go there, then they want you to have a visa. Because without a visa, they feel like, hey, you could you could cut short your journey and then stay here and not go back. So we need you to have a transit visa. So that's how it is. Okay. I want to do it these different. Can I now my next be? Yes, you can, Adam. So after you've been selected and you're filling your DS260 application, any experience that is relevant at that moment, you can add that on your DS260 application, okay? And apart from that, okay. I'm trying to see if there are any more questions. Can you do the request online? Wow, hi, Yasir. Welcome. So I'll go on to the next question on it. So someone said, if my passport is not ready, can I apply? Don't. If your passport is not ready, remember I told you guys that on the DV lottery application, which is the green card lottery application, you need your passport number and your passport expiration date. Those are information that the people who don't have passport can't have. You cannot know when your passport is going to expire if you don't have one. Okay, so how's the Lamborghini? Oh, the Lamborghini is outside. uh, but you cannot, if you don't have your passport, please don't. Sorry. What is, I'm sorry. Let me scroll back to see if I can find it again. If you're requesting for that, is there an expiration date for submitting your document? So there's not really an expiration date to submit your document. However, your DV lottery, so let's say you're a DV 2022 winner, you have up to September 30th, 2022 to finish everything. Finish everything, all right? Because I remember today somebody asked me in my WhatsApp group that they heard that the last day to submit your DS260 application is September 30th, 2022 for DV 2022. Well, if you, let's say you wait to September 30th, 2022, submit your DS260, then when are you getting your interview? Remember that when you submit, they have to review. So they are not going to speed up their process because you waited too long. That's the thing that we have to understand. That's why I keep telling you guys that the things that are in your control, you filling out your DS260 is in your control. They cannot fill it out for you. So those ones that are in your control, you have to do it quicker so that the things that are not in your control, you can patiently wait and you let God take care of the rest. All right. Samuel, what was the second part of your question? So don't wait until 2022 September ending to so it's like have a risk not being called for interview considering the maximum intake, for example. Samuel, I answered that because I said, like, if somebody has 55,000 case number range, there are people, somebody had 83,000 in France. That person is an African living in France, and they got their case, they got their interview. The thing is that it depends on your embassy. It's not about your case number. Somebody had, like, is it 79,000 or something in Djibouti, and the person was interviewed. Somebody, the U.S. Embassy in Yaoundé, Cameroon, was, working on case number 19,000, and the embassy in Accra was working on 5,000. So it all depends on your embassy. Some embassies are very quick, that they can get things faster. So that's why I'm saying that you have to submit, do your part. The things that are from you, that they need from you, do it faster. So that if your embassy is slow, you can now contact the neighboring countries, the embassies there, so that they can and see if they will be willing to accept your case. The reason why I say this is that if you wait too long, you see, sometimes when something happens, some people are scared to do it. Some people are scared to transfer your case. But the thing is that when it's early on, you take that opportunity when it becomes available. By the time, some people just wait till later. Like some people waited until June, and in June they announced, asking the embassy, like, can I bring my case? By that time, the embassy was like, no, we can't take any more. So do whatever is in your control, do that first, and then monitor the situation, okay? So you are a DV 2022 person, follow the case of DV 2021 so that you also learn some lessons from there. Somebody said, first, submitted on time, have not been asked to submit my document. Should I submit them anyway? Yeah, submit your document. Don't wait for anybody, all right? You answered the second question, but you didn't answer my first question. What was your first question? I'm sorry. It keeps moving fast. And what is the date for starting here in Ghana? The Jesper, the registration date has not been published yet. It's universal, all right, or worldwide. Okay, so if when they publish the date and say the registration day is maybe like October 3rd, it means everywhere in the world. It's not just Ghana. So we have to wait for them to publish the date. When they publish it, I'll share with you guys. I'll share it on my channel here, share it in the various Facebook groups. But that's why you need to subscribe so that when some of these things come up, you get notification and know that, oh, it has opened. But if you don't subscribe, how would you know? By the time, some of you wait too long, okay? Remember, people around the world, it's not only Ghanaians who are applying. There are people from Afghanistan, people from Algeria, people from Egypt, people from Somalia, right? Okay, Somalia. People from Kenya, like people from all over the world. There are some people in Europe even applying. Russians are applying, okay? So you don't wait too long, but the data has not been published yet, and nobody can say that definitively that it's going to be October 3rd or October 5th or October 10th. We just have to wait until the official date has been published, then we can let you guys know. Adam, the first part of your case, I'm scrolling through to see if I can find it. You said your work experience, I said that I have high school and nursing assistant. So during a who should I choose? High school with degree or that? So let me see. So high school with degree means that you graduated from secondary school or high school and you receive a certificate. That is what it means. High school with degree means that you graduated from secondary school and you receive a certificate. You wrote the final exams, you have a certificate. High school with no degree means that you didn't finish. Let's say that you were in school till maybe one term, like as we call it in Ghana, one term or maybe one semester, if that's how they call it in your country. And then you just drop out of school. Maybe something happened, you drop out of school. That is high school, no degree, all right? Or maybe you just got to, third year or second year and then you just quit school. That is high school with no degree. Dropout, people who didn't finish school. They are the ones who can pick high school with no degree. But if you graduated, high school with degree means that you graduated from high school. But you have a nursing assistant certificate. So that, So that I'm wondering if it's university courses, some university courses. Know that this thing is not like rigid, okay? It's not rigid because some of the namings that they have on the application, they are trying to consider every other country in the world. So the system in Ghana may not be the same as the one in, say, Afghanistan or Algeria or Egypt or Morocco. So they try to make everybody like happy. Does that make sense? They try to make the system even for everybody. So would they inspect high school certificate? Yes. During your interview, you have to take your high school certificate there, all right? So with Adam, when you're applying, you can choose high school with degree, or and then maybe when you're selected, then you can list the nursing assistant certificate on there, okay? So you can choose that because remember that is randomly selected. So somebody with a university degree and somebody with high school degree, you are equal. They are not looking at your educational accomplishment to determine who they should select and who they shouldn't. That thing is done when you're going to Canada. But in this development process, they are not looking at your educational accomplishment. So you don't have to inflate your own achievement. Sometimes if you downplay it, it's it's okay, all right? So when you get selected on the DS260, you have the opportunity to list those things there. But Solomon, yeah, they will look at your high school certificate. You have to bring your high school certificate to the, you have to bring it to the interview. Jasper or Gasper, like I said, I think I've answered you earlier. But anybody who has any questions on that, like when the registration will open in Kenya, when the registration will open in Egypt, Ethiopia, please, it's the same date. So if they say that the application date it opens, let's say, because they use a time zone here in the US, right? So mostly if they say that is 11:59 a.m. in Eastern Daylight Time, like New York part time, then on this date, then whatever that time is in your country, that is what it is. Because remember, maybe a daylight time in the time that they set, but in your country may be like midnight or it might be the next morning. But that's how it is. It applies to wherever you are. Do you have any idea on Canadian immigration? No, I have limited experience on Canadian immigration because I've never been to Canada. I've never, I just have like a slight idea because my dad was in Canada before. The Canadian immigration system used like a quota system, so people who have higher education have better chances of going to Canada because they want more people with higher education in Canada. But that's all that I know. I don't really know much about Canada. Like I said, haven't been there. The next thing is that I'm going back on my list. Or let me say, in one of your comments, you talk about cutoff point for Africa being below in regards to bulletin. Can you clarify, especially what it means for me, who is 9,000? So the cutoff point, Roha, the cutoff point was for the month of September. All right? For the month of September, the bulletin point was for people whose case numbers were 2,675. I'm so sorry. 2,675. Those people with that case number and below, they have visas available, right? Because the visa get allocated. Remember, there are so many other immigration processes going on. Immigrant visa process. Development is also part of immigrant visa process. So they have an allocation for the whole year, all right? Like a fiscal year. So the federal government fiscal year starts in 1st October, rounds and ends on September ending, all right? So they, other people who are bringing their family and their children and all that, they have like a whole number, like sometimes like 300,000 people. I remember one year they gave 365,000 visas, immigrant visas, to come to America. So remember, so every cutoff point, or when they show the visa bulletin, they make some of the visas available. So those who are within that case number. So somebody, oh, sorry. Where was that person? So that means that if your cutoff point is, 9,000, then probably between November and February. If nothing happens, November and February next year, then you should probably be getting an interview. But that is all depending on the embassy that you're interviewing at, okay? Your case may be ready for an interview, but if your embassy is not taking it, then you cannot, your case will sit there, all right? Let me tell my father you do, and with case number, when is it possible? So you are 20,000. So 20,000 then probably next year, early next year. So somewhere by March. But like I said, it all depends on your embassy. Your embassy is the king, all right? Your embassy, your home embassy is the king of this castle, all right? Because some embassies, they are fast, like the U.S. Embassy in Cameroon, the U.S. Embassy in Casablanca. Like, they are fast. They are just issuing case, like, they're just interviewing people. And there's some people who are interviewing in Casablanca who already have their interview appointment, DV 2022. There are some people who are going for interview in Algiers, in Algeria, Casablanca in Morocco. There are some people from there that already have their interview appointment in October, first week of October. So some of these embassies, like they are like efficient. But if you are with some embassy that is just like this, your case may sit there for a long time. So that's why you need to monitor, see how your own embassy is behaving. And if you see that at this point, I'm not going to wait for them to, I'm not going to wait too long, then you have to start contacting other embassies. Take a flight to go to that country and do your interview there if that embassy will take your case. But your life is in your hands, all right, at that point. Let's see. On average, what's the time period? On average, what's the time period? Time period for what? I don't know what your question is referring to. Time period for what? But for now, they are requesting for a document from those who submitted their DS-260 early on. But like I said, you can send your supporting document if you have everything ready. And when you're sending them, please make sure you attach your documents. And let's say you have, say, 8 children, okay? And maybe it's just too many things that you are sending, because every child, their passport, their birth certificate, all of that information on there. Then you can send multiple emails. You can send one email, or you can send maybe one email with your information, your spouse, and then you send another email for your children, half of your children. The next email you send it, but make sure that your case number, you reference your case number in all of it, so that they know that, oh, this is more information for this case. This is more information for the same case, okay? Supporting documents. Supporting documents for your immigrant visa application. You fill out the DS-260 application and you told them that that you fill the form, but you need a supporting document. That's part of the process. You send them, they have a list of documents that they require, and you have to send those documents to them, all right? The list is out there, and I've published that on my, I think I've published that on my website. I'm not sure. I think I've published it, or maybe I have it, like I've typed it out. I haven't published it yet. They asked me my case number, and they asked me to send my supporting. So is it likely I will win? You will win what? If they're asking you for your supporting documents, they send me that they will. I don't understand, but let me try to understand your question. So your case number is 44,000, okay? And they ask you for your supporting document. If that's what you're trying to say, then remember that them asking for your supporting documents doesn't mean that you're getting interviewed soon. The interview goes according to the case numbers. But when they are requesting for documents, they don't care about your case number. When they are requesting for documents, they are going according to people who submitted the application earlier, okay? If you requested your case to be unlocked and you resubmitted, even though you submitted the original maybe early on, don't do stuff. But yeah, if you're, Hypertech TV, I wonder if that's the case. But I remember that it's KCC, the email. I've told you guys that whenever you're dealing with the U.S. government, State Department, the email address, the last part of the email address, like when you see maybe something at, like when you see your email, it's like my email will be like wafoitv@gmail.com, right? When any email is coming from the official U.S. government, it will be at. And when it comes to DV Lottery, it should be at statedepartment.gov, government, gov. So if somebody's sending you information and person, the email address is not like that, then be careful. If it's not like that, don't let somebody scam you, okay? Um, but and you can message me on Facebook and let me see what's going on and see if it's real or not, okay? But they said they will process 3 weeks to. Okay, so you're saying that KCC told you that they will process it between 3 to 6 weeks. Yes, when you submit your DS-260 application, that is what they say. Is that not? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So KCC will request for your documents, but now it's not according to your case number. So they will request for your documents, or if you have them ready, you can send them. If you have them ready, you send them. Why do you wait? If you have everything ready, but maybe let's say you are trying to correct something, you made a mistake and you're trying to correct it, then you want to make sure that the document that you're sending reflects on all the changes too, okay? All right. And then somebody asked me that if they're getting a new passport, but so they use a different passport for the application and all that. Now they're using a new passport because that passport has expired. And when they fill out the DS-260, what should they do? Solomon, I will share the passport down below when I'm done. I wonder if I can type right now. But yeah, no, when I'm done, I'll do that. But yeah, so the person said, what should they do? When it comes to the supporting document, they tell you that any document that you cannot have, you have to. Oh, okay. So simplistic tech. If you are waiting for them to work on it. Yeah, then just be patient. You've done your part. Now it's in their hands, and they need to process it and tell you that it's DQ. Okay. So simplistic tech. Did they ask for it from you, or you are the one who sent them? Please let me know. Let me know in the comment. Did they ask you to bring your documents, or you sent it to them and they responded that give them 3 weeks to 6 weeks to process it? Please respond in the comment and let me know that. Did they ask you to send it, or you're the one who sent it? Okay. All right. I lost my train of thought on the other one that I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So somebody asked, will the DV lottery program be canceled? No. They ask you for it? Okay, then good news. Yeah, then you've done your part, so just wait, okay? There's nothing for you to do anymore. It's just wait, okay? Somebody asked a question, let me look at it. How can I know if it was submitted for sure? So if you want to know if your DS-260 was submitted for sure, then did you not get confirmation email? If you did not, if you're not sure you got it, log in back to your DS-260 application. When you log in, you will see that it will say whether it's incomplete or completed or submitted. That should tell you. If it's incomplete, that means they wasn't submitted, okay? So just use your login back with your, can I use the photo I took last year? No, don't use that. Don't use that picture. Just get a new one, okay? Solomon, you're asking for the website again. The website is DV Program. DV Program. I'll have to type it for you. DV Program at state. No, sorry. Why am I using an email address? dvprogram.state.gov. All right. Sign up this year. I'm about to sign in. I'm just making sure. Yes, and sign up again this year. Sign up again. You are qualified to, sign up again. But the issue is I'm in Ghana and I'm not a Ghanaian. It doesn't matter. What address did you use? So if you are, it doesn't matter whether you're a citizen of that country or not. People are able to take their interview to another country without being residents there. So it doesn't matter. Unless if you're going to move back to your home country within the next few weeks, then you need to let the embassy you need to let KCC unlock your case and update your current address. If you're going to move back to your home country, that's why I'm saying that before you submit your DS-260, be very sure of where you're going to be. So if you know that you're going to go back to your home country, your current address needs to be, you can use it for this. Yes, Adam, you can use that picture, the one that I sent to you and said these are good. The ones that I said were good, you can use them in the application, okay? But yeah, wherever you put your address as, I'm asking for your website. Oh, okay, sorry. www.wafoitv.com. wafoitv.com. You can go to my website. There's train online to, I'm going to have the web designer change the word train online to maybe practice online. Maybe it will make it, relatable to people. But until then, it's train online. You click on that to practice on how to fill out the application process. But if you've been following my channel, you will know that if you're married, you have children, they also need their information. They don't need passport yet, but you need to have their passport picture. You need, you need to have their passport picture because you'll be putting in their name, their date of birth, and then their passport picture. And make sure that the name that you put in for them will be the name that is on their birth certificate because you use their birth certificate to get passport, all right? But on the training tool, at the moment, they don't have the part for filling for your spouse and your children. But at least this is something to give you a feel of how it's done, okay? So yes, I just gave him, I just realized I didn't, I didn't know he was talking about that. But yeah, go to my website and there's a comment section. You click on the latest news. I have articles that I've written there. You can click on and read like how to get a police certificate from United Arab Emirates. Please guys, if you know how to get some documents in your country and you want to share that information with me, I would really appreciate so that I can share on my website for people from your country to also know this information, because some of the information that I share, there are things that others have shared with me. I haven't lived in UAE, but somebody shared the process and I shared on my website for many others to, also find out about it, okay? All right. I'm giving free on the website. What is that? I don't understand. It said, I'm gonna here. They will charge for the information. Joseph, that is the thing that I've been telling people. People are charging a lot of money. Like there's one guy, he's in the immigration group and he's charging people from his country. And then he'll be asking me, so how do you do this? So how do you do this? How do you do that? I was like, man, you are charging these people a lot of money and you are asking me for this free information. But hey, like, I'm going to help people as much as I can. But with my new website, I'll have some services so that, because filling the DS-260, you want to be accurate, okay? So now that brings me to that. Filling the DS-260 takes a long time. If you ask anybody who filled theirs, they should tell you. They will tell you. It takes a lot because they're asking for so many information. And some people, you let somebody fill that and then they misspell your name. Like one guy is like, oh, my agent misspelled my daughter's name. So I'll have these services available on my site that you can pay for a service where I can review your stuff for you. I can go through for DS-260 only. I'm not applying for the little for anybody because it's easy. Anybody who's ever won from Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know anybody because I started this channel just last year, August. So I don't personally, I haven't interacted with anybody on my channel yet who is from Trinidad and Tobago. I've met some really nice Trinidadians, but they're not from, Greek Lottery process, no. But I think, let me see, we can check on the selection status to see, people who are selected and see, just a moment. DV lottery selection statistics. Okay, let's see. And yeah, I mean, like, we can look at that and see how many people get selected from there. How do I share an information with you? Solomon, you just send an email to wafoitv at gmail.com. When this agency asks for documents and you don't have a copy of the initial passport used for the entry, what exactly will someone do? What happened to your passport? That is the question that you need to ask. So know that KCC is just filling a checklist. They have a checklist. If you don't have it, explain to them why. So if you don't have it, you have to type a letter and explain to them why you don't have that passport. And know that if you don't explain yourself well, when you go for the interview, you're going to explain yourself again there. So yeah. So make sure that whatever reason why your passport, you don't have it, do you have, what happened to it? That should let you know. If a crime was committed with your passport, it was stolen, then you have a police certificate. All right? But remember that there's always a suspicion that people will lie to get to America. That is a fact. Whether you are an honest person or you're not, you're flexible with the truth, that is a known fact that people will lie to come to America. So remember that the embassy is looking at you as if you're lying. So you have to make sure that you build your case up. What do you need when you're going with your stepchildren? At the interview, that's when you're married to their mom. Okay, so if you're going with the stepchildren, do you have permission from their dad? If the dad is in their life, all right, and you have permission from that, maybe a letter, some, affidavit, sworn statement with the dad signing with a, sworn statement on there showing that, he agrees for the child to, come with you, okay? Wow, if you said you misplaced yours, then you need to really look hard, because it's gonna look like you used a bad. I'm just telling you what I think, okay? And it's up to you to use that to build your case. So imagine me as a consular officer, and you say that you misplaced your passport. I'm going to think that there's some people who use wrong passport to fill. They use somebody's passport to fill. And now that they've been selected, they throw the passport away and get a new one. All right? That's why they always want to see the other one. So if you think you have just misplaced it, please look for it. Since it was not stolen, it's just misplaced, then look for it in your house, okay? Because you have to convince a consular officer that you're being truthful. And the consular officers have heard so many lies that sometimes you might be telling the truth, but it's difficult for them to believe you, okay? DV, okay, let me see, DV lottery selection by country. Let me see if I can get that information here. Anyway, so let me go on to the, the person was like, with the DV program, will it be canceled? It's not going to be canceled. Some Republican, congressmen have proposed that it be canceled during Trump's administration. It didn't catch any fire. So they just gave up, okay? So it's not going to be canceled. It's been around since the 1990s, and it's not going anywhere, okay? So it's not going to be canceled. And then the next question is, why are other immigration process a priority over DV lottery? Okay, so the reason why, and this is my opinion, or are they going to still request it when the time comes? I'm not sure, because sometimes remember that it's computer system. sometimes the system automatically sends email even if it doesn't apply to you, okay? Okay, if you got a police certificate for it, but you said you misplaced it, so why do you have a police certificate? You know, like I'm trying to ask you this question so that you can think about how it looks, okay? Um, with the other person said that when you send your documents and they can still ask for it, sometimes it's just the system automatically. I remember somebody, the system sent them an email like, oh, we are waiting for you for your interview tomorrow. Meanwhile, the person's interview was like 3 days time, but they were saying tomorrow. So sometimes, you know, it's human beings, you know, sometimes they make errors. If they ask for it again, you send it again. But if you send it earlier and they accept it, and there are people who sent it and they accepted it. You send it and they accept it. Your case is going to be completed fast, so that you know what else to do. Okay. Let me see if I can see the online registration. No, here it's just giving me the online registration. I don't have the site. I will find that information and probably share it here, like when they do the selection by country. But will when will the DV 2022 interview day start? October 1st. That's the beginning of the fiscal year for the U.S. federal government. October 1st. So there are people in Algeria and Morocco going for interview on October 3rd and October 4th. All right? Yeah. And I just found out that, you know, in Arab countries, they work on Sundays. I didn't even know that. Okay. But yeah. So the next question is why are other immigration process like a priority over DV lottery? Well, the reason is that the person is already here in the US. They are entitled to bring their family members. You are doing the DV lottery. You don't have any rights. Immigration is a privilege. You see, it's like, remember, you have a house, your children live there, and you're having a party there. Your children who are there, they can bring their friends to the party. But somebody who is not related to you, who knows nobody in the house, that person is not entitled to anything. You are just giving them the opportunity to come inside. So connected to the immigration delivery process. Delivery process, they are not considering you having a family member here. They are not, can you take a picture and then edit it with a white background? Most photo studios, they already have the off-white background. I mean, if that's what you want to use, I'm not sure. If that's what you want to use, I'll just leave that to you. But most photo studios, they already have, you know, the correct background. They will take the picture in that background. So why do you want to do this? I know there's an app that I connected on my website, like it's linked on my website, where like you take your regular picture and then the app fixes the background and stuff like that. If the thing can do it good without it looking like too much editing, maybe you can use that. But if there's a photo studio in your country that has the off-white background, why don't you go there and take it from there instead of giving yourself more work to do, like trying to fix it. So as I was saying, so the DV process, you don't have a family member. They are not basing your eligibility on a family member, you knowing any U.S. citizen. They are not basing it on you having a family member bringing you. So that means that if you're DV lottery process, you are not entitled to anything. That I want to make sure. Can I have your email address? My email address is wafoitv@gmail.com. wafoitv@gmail.com. But if you're doing DV lottery process, you are not entitled to anything. You are not entitled to come to America. You are not entitled to American visa. So it's like the U.S. government is giving you a privilege. Please, privilege, rights are two different things. okay? Even American citizens who want to bring like their family members, it's still a privilege, because if the person is a US citizen, they are the person who is entitled to live in America. You are a citizen of Kenya, you are entitled to live in Kenya. If you're a citizen of Ghana, you are entitled to live in Ghana. But your other family members who live outside of the borders of your country, they are not entitled to come there, okay? It's just a privilege. So that's why those who are already here, the US government gives them more privileges to bring their family members, because that's why the family members still have to go for interview, because it's a privilege. They still have to go for interview. So the people who are already here, they have higher privileges than you who is now coming in, okay? So that's why delivery is always not the top priority. They will focus on the people who are already here, who need to bring their children, who need to bring their husband, their wives, and all of that to America, all right? The number 7, how do you prepare for interview? So, and that's the last question on my list, the question that people send to me. How do you prepare for interview? Well, when it comes for interview, guys, you prepare for interview just like any other, interview. When you're going for a work interview, a job interview, how do you prepare? The most important thing that you want to do is not to sound like you have rehearsed, okay? You have rehearsed the things that you're saying. Make it like a conversation. Don't make your interview seem like interrogation. Like they ask you, what is your name? My name is, the way you're reading, it's almost like you've memorized something in your head and you're reading by the this, that, and that, because you're reading in your mind. Like it's like you're trying to remember the lines, and they can tell because the CEOs are trained kind of like FBI agents, okay? The difference is that they are not. FBI agents work in law enforcement and they don't. But they have been trained to read your body language. That's why the interview will always be in person. They don't do it on the phone, on live. That's why it has to be here. Hey, good night, Joseph. I'm about to end here because this is the last question that is on here. But thank you for tuning in today. So to prepare for the interview, you need to look out for other people's experiences, what to expect. So I've made video talk about some of the things that you should expect to have questions on. No. People who are not married can apply. It's not just for married people. And I'll make one video specifically for married people since you've brought it up, because I think people are getting that idea that I'm talking about married people. No, they are the ones who most of the time they run into problems, because when they do, sometimes they are married but they don't say they are married, and sometimes they are not married, they say they are married. That's why I focus on them. But since you mentioned it, I'll make a video and talk about this one. But check out my website. There are a lot of information there. You can train and test on how you're going to apply for the Lodo, okay? But like I said, when you go for the interview, before you go, you need to, find out the checklist of things that you need to bring to the interview. I've made a video on that. You need to watch interview sample questions like, would they ask your parents when applying? No, they will not. Solomon, they're not going to ask anything about your parents when you're applying. They will only ask when you have been selected and filling the DS-260. They ask you, your mother's name, your father's name, their date of birth. If you know, if you don't know it, you say you don't know it. They ask you where they live and those kind of things after you have been selected. But when you're applying, they don't. So Solomon, to find out, just go to my website, use the online train online. All right. When you go to my website, scroll down a bit, you see train online now, and then it will show you how to fill the form. You see that it doesn't ask anything about your family. But like I said, if you're married, that part of the form is not available on my website yet. My web designer is building that part. If you have children, that part is being built now. So go and see and practice it and see how that works. Let me see. ask during the interview? They ask the dependence questions during the interview. It depends. It depends on the case. But you have to bring you anybody who is accompanying you to the U.S. Anybody that you want to get their visa, you have to take them to the interview with you. Okay. So let's say that you have been selected. You have two children, and your children are coming with you to the U.S. You have to bring those children to the interview. Okay, you bring those children to the interview, and sometimes they might ask questions. Like I said, they are observing you. So sometimes the questions that they will ask you may not be the same. So there are some typical questions that they ask. But sometimes, depending on your body language, the way they assess the situation, some people get more questions asked because of how they saw things playing. And some people, they don't get, more questions asked. Sometimes they can ask the person if they don't feel that these children are yours. Sometimes they may ask them, let's say you are a single mom, they might ask the children, like, oh, do you hear from your dad? Like they might, but they don't always. Like me, I didn't come through DV lottery, but when I went, I remember years ago when I went for interview with my mom, they asked me when was the last time I saw my dad. But for me, it was a different interview process. So sometimes it it depends on the situation. When you go there, they might ask your children something, they might not. Okay, um, just make sure that you're being truthful, because if you're lying about certain things, you're saying that I don't know who their father is and all that thing, and then you go for an interview and they ask your children, who is your dad, and then they are there mentioning the person that they saw their dad and all that. Now you see you've been exposed. Okay. So, but they don't always ask questions too. But just prepare. It's better to prepare and them not asking questions than to be, shy.